Make sure to try out new doors that were previously locked. You never know what will happen. Thank you, sign. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Annie and the Art Gallery. Today we'll be trying to conquer the hard mode of this game, and we can go into this store now, which has a model of a plane sitting on a podium. It softly glows, as if it has something important to tell you. Would you like to pick it up? Absolutely. Got a model plane. And we've got a model plane following us around now. An air vent. Okay. That's good. It smells like decomposing corpses. What kind of nutrition does this plant feed off then? A paper here. Welcome to hard mode. There is extra dialogue, satire, and lore, at the cost of disabling auto-saving and significantly harder chase sequences. Would you like to save? Absolutely. So we'll just cut to the chases when we get to the newer stuff or the harder stuff. Damn, the game do be denying you saving. It's hard for other reasons. Save me, plane. Do not follow me, pot. Ah, note here. The Metro Globe 10/6/18. The NTSB is still searching their heads over what caused the plane crash in Eastwood last Thursday. According to them, there was no evidence of an explosion nor any evidence of engine failure. However, they did notice that the wings of the plane had become separate before it hit the ground. The significance of this is unknown at this time. You talk about the toy plane that I have with me. Would you like to save? Absolutely. So I think these notes are going to be the only opportunities in which we can actually save the game. So we may encounter one later on before the end of this exhibit or on the next exhibit, whichever one comes first. Or maybe even Brenda would give us some light of a save opportunity. Painting of a downed airliner. Hey, this kind of looks like a past incident somewheres involving this plane. I wonder if some deep understory about this game revolving a plane. Or maybe a plane is just like a red herring and has nothing to do with anything regarding the story. But I think it's quite interesting to try and solve a game's story or backstory, and something revolving around an incident and the plane itself. I wonder if that has some kind of influence on her abilities to make fires from the fear of experiencing a plane crash of sorts. And then from that plane crash, you somehow develop the ability to cast fire. A painting of a downed airliner in a residential town. I can't believe it's been over a month since this happened, and they still don't have any ideas. Screw off? Okay. What is with that foul language? Disposable camera and weird looking robot next to it. What? I never played this one. A painting of a huge fire rising from the small town centre. This looks like Eastwood, which was mentioned about the plane thing earlier. Fire, Eastwood, Annie developing pyromaniac powers. Something to all of this. Neither do we. Still have no idea what's going on. I really gotta go find Brendan. He should know what's going on. He has to know what's going on. Maybe sometimes it's best not to know what's going on. A traffic cone again. It's just getting kind of eerie. Indeed it is. Internal NTSB report 10th of December 2018. Or is it the 12th of October? To all employees investigating the Eastwood crash, we've got a tentative lead. We're currently investigating a ruined building near the crash site. Security camera footage shows the building imploding? Mere seconds before the crash, it has to be connected. Would you like to save? Absolutely, me and my plane companion. I wonder what the embodiment of this plane is throughout this game, through the story. The story is the juicy, exquisite parts of what makes a game a game. I don't know where I was going with that. No, Firstly, I cannot purchase said game when it's still in Japanese only. And secondly, do not disown your own game, please, if you're watching this, developer, for goodness sakes. Inspiration for the setting behind Annie's adventure. I love how everyone praises Eve as this definitive example of what every RPG Maker game has to be. No. You can have your own scenario and still rock just as hard as Eve ever could. About me? This wasn't an option before. About me? Hi, I'm Annie. You could just read the text box to figure that one out. Shut up. I'm not like the other girls. My favourite pastime is practicing my opening monologue, this one. Well, that's cool. You remind me of a character from a manga I know. Oh yeah? Which one? Well, it was just some slice of life. Never heard of it! Oh dear. Achievement Apricot. Charlie, why did you go back to the Blumhouse? Come off it! I didn't realise that origami would just be in my way. And... great, we're going back here again before the encounter and all that jazz. An Among Us reference. Very sus indeed, because there's a vent there. I would say so far that the game isn't necessarily more difficult, it's just that you're unable to save your progress, so it feels more difficult. So it's not on a difficult basis more difficult, but it's just that you have less opportunities to save, and therefore it feels more difficult as a result of that. Also, alongside the bit of paper that would originally chase you within that sequence because you stepped out of that vertical line, there was another piece of paper there that moved around that was similar to the ones which read that had information about the plane crash and stuff like that, but I couldn't really read it because it was a chase sequence and it kind of moved. Annie and Lizzie could be siblings. So with each of these stories, it could be about Annie and or people related to Annie. Also, there's a letter here. Well, something here. There's a long video log on the ground. Would you like to read it? Absolutely. NTSB video log ruined building. Okay, so it is Americanized. It is the 13th of October 2018. Begin log. 3 members of a team NTSB 001 approach the building at night. Alpha 001 Alpha check. Bravo, Charlie, etc. Alright everyone, you are clear to enter the building. Please be sure to repeat anything anomalous you see. Roger that, control. Alright team, let's go. All team members enter the building. The inside is in a state of disarray. Tables are turned, multiple windows are shattered and the walls are cracked. Okay, this is strange. Let's fan out and find the source of this explosion. Roger that. 001 Charlie breaks off and enters one of the back rooms. It appears to be some kind of medical bay. There are several spots for an IV stand, but one of them is missing. Charlie 01 pans her flashlight towards the ground. It reveals a corpse on the ground, covered in blood. Body appears male, middle-aged, blonde hair. Guys, body here. Roger, mark it, but move on. We'll get a better equipped team to extract it later. 001 Charlie backs out of the room and rejoins the rest of the team. They enter an observation room of sorts. The damage is much more severe than other rooms. The window glass appears to be vaporized as particles litter the concrete, which is also cracked. This must be the building where the government has done their experiments on, but something must have happened and it failed when it comes to containing the what we would probably call subjects of it, and Annie could be one of those subjects. A control panel of sorts rests upside down on the floor, and the plane could be an escape means. I've already read that. Alpha and Bravo take pictures of the scene. Charlie attempts to lift the control panel, but it's too heavy. Blank, man, what happened here? It looks like the explosion came from the other side of the glass. Alpha steps through the glass into the adjacent room. The only thing recognizable is a chair with several wires running around it. Alpha looks right to it. Hey, I can see moonlight through here. Control, are you getting this? Affirmative. Ah, now there's an O2 Bravo. 01 Bravo by the opening. Control, I have a hunch. Can you see where this theme points towards? Control runs the numbers based off 001's GPS coordinates and compass bearings. They find that the opening nearly matches the estimated free-fall position of the plane. This information is relayed to Team 001. What the hell? So you're saying that a gunshot rings out at 1 Alpha is shot in the back of the head? Bravo's cameras show chunks of skull and brain flying into the opening like a point-blank shot. Charlie ducks behind the cover and pulls out her service pistol. Bravo spins around briefly, revealing the assailant. Assailant appears to be male, mid-20s with brown hair, wearing a grey suit and white tie. Assailant points the gun at Bravo and fires before he has a chance to react. Male, mid-20s with brown hair. Brendan? Grey suit and white tie. Then again, he could just be wearing different clothes. Bravo's camera cuts out. Charlie begins hyperventilating behind a cover. Graham, blank, control, we're under attack. Requesting backup. Roger, we're scrambling the team now. Quiet footsteps are heard through 001 Charlie's camera. She looks up, only to find the assailant lean over a broken glass, pointing his gun at her. End video log. Yes, please! I would love to save my game's progression. So we've got a story building up here towards this incident. So two things are going here now. Number one is about Annie's powers and how other people have been able to develop those powers like Annie. Number two, the plane crash incident. Number three, I suppose that isn't a number three, but number three could be a correlation between the government building and the plane crash. Backseat of a plane, possibly? So we've got Annie, Lizzie, Charlie, and Misty. This bit of paper. Nope. Cannot interact. We cannot save because it has nothing to give us. Internal NTSB report, 14th of October 2018. Well, clearly somebody doesn't want us being nosy. We just lost an entire team yesterday. Somebody stayed behind at that building. However, we did get some good information. We now have solid evidence that the building in question was linked to the plane crash. I guess my only question is, when should we reveal this to the media? Everybody is dying for an answer. Would you like to save? Absolutely, and I'm dying to find out the truth behind Brendan because I believe he was an employee at this building where they experimented on people with special abilities. Annie could be one of them, but definitely Keely and Jane were other two people behind those experiments. Somehow the experiment went wrong, and Brendan kind of either stayed at the building and shot the team mentioned, or he did flee the scene, and somehow he made this art exhibit scenario and used Jane and Keely to be able to create this kind of scenario. But the reason behind creating this art exhibit scenario is rather confusing. Like, why would he make an exhibit in order to escape from society in a way? Hey, Annie. Oh no, not this puzzle. No. We're going to be caught by that glass figurine thing. And there's no way of being able to save. Nope. Not here. Not anywhere. This is going to be fun. Try not to get caught by this thing. That's obviously going to know where we are at all times. So I think this is going to be the only extremely difficult part of the game. Heard running water. Okay, let's get out of here before that thing tries to take me down again. Thank goodness we're out of there. That was so demeaning. Are you referring to... That must be linked to the Steam name. How dare you tell me... How dare you say my first name? I'm perplexed by this. Flare Blitz, I mean, and what about those glass shoes you picked up earlier? Who are you talking to? You said something else before Anne. You're referring to Bewitch's house, aren't you? If these glass shoes will work in this scenario as well. Thanks. Another fourth wall breakage right there. They do indeed work. That is surprising. We'll go exploring and not see Brendan ever again. Lovely, and there's also a lot of references to a summer camp of sorts throughout the game, so I wonder if this was somewhere in which people with these abilities were able to meet up before their experimentations began. Or it could be an after thing where they went to the summer camp afterwards as like a recuperation system. Or just recuperating in general, not system. Makes it sound like another scientific experiment. This time it's a bit more leisurely. That is no good. No good whatsoever where you have to be in this kind of scenario where you are absolutely trapped beyond recognition. Also, I forgot to pick up a USB flash drive this time around. Journal entry 18th of October 2022. NTSB. Employee. So far in the future. What the hell? Why is the government here? Are they supposed to stay out of the NTSB's business? They're rounding everyone up downstairs. I can hear them. What the hell? A gunshot can be heard. It seems like the writer's door was forced open. A struggle is heard, then nothing. If you want to look into those kids, you're gonna need our permission first, idiot. Would you like to save the game? I wonder if this unknown is Brendan or somebody affiliated with Brendan. Somebody within the company. A painter of Keely and Jane looks like they're waiting for you. Thank you, you must be in here then. Indeed, the finale begins. That confirms that Brendan works at the place because Jane says, study us. Not help you, but study you. Two different things going on there. Oh, we can save it the final scene. Lovely. Who would have thought? The room for error is really small. And that is another thing as well. Once you go through that door, you have to immediately go right. Or left, just to avoid being hit by that abomination. You're still in there somewheres, you two. You gotta break free of your torments. Guys, are you in there? Guys, listen to me. I know you're here. You have to tell me what's going on. You two, you cannot stay like this, please. Gotta break free of your shackles. One what? Hate us. I don't hate you. What did Brendan say to them? But, well, Jane did mention about lies being embedded into their heads. I'm here to help you. Just, you have to tell me what's wrong. What's... Oh, the floor is breaking. And we've gone down south. Back here again. Here again, yeah. This time it's not a dream of sorts. But it's the real thing. A really real thing. Like, at the end of this video, I'm going to try and piece together the kind of overall story of the game. In a way. Then there's these two again. Hello? Jane? Keely? What's going on? Keely, why'd you tell me to do that? Why'd you tell me to talk back to him? I thought it would be the right thing to do. Brendan was treated like a piece of rubbish. Rubbish. I want to help you, Jane. I want to help you get away from him. I want to help you produce your own art. I had to do something. Exactly. I didn't know that you would... Shut up! Don't tell me to shut up, please. Brendan's right, you know. What do you mean Brendan's right? All he ever did was torment you and use you for your abilities. He hadn't told me that, nothing would have changed. Sometimes change is required for a better outcome. Jane, what happened? If she hadn't told me to stand up for myself, Brendan wouldn't have gone crazy. And if he never said that I was worthless, that I wasn't even worth the effort keeping around, well, guess what? Maybe Brendan's attention is not needed for you. Maybe his opinion of you should not matter to you on what you feel of yourself. Maybe disregard Brendan altogether. Then you wouldn't feel shackled and chained down. Jane, what happened? Did Brendan kill you? No, nothing happened. Well, something must have happened. Don't say that nothing happened. Obviously, something did happen. And we need to keep on pressing this until the beans are spilled. I need to know what happened to her. I have to get them out of this. Exactly. And the light is there. The lamppost. Indeed, the lamppost. And we skim through the lamppost itself. Ah, the head of the lamp. Wait, what are you... We're looking at this. Annie, don't! It seems we have cracked Jane in some ways. Mentally. But we need to know what happened. We definitely know what happened. Oh, and the plane is now following Jane. Oh dear. Jane, you're worthless. Why would you ever talk back to me like that? You're the worst Brendan, sorry. You're the worst person in this game. Not even your stupid power can save you from that. You should be... Never ever listen to the words of a tyrant. To a person who only uses you, rather than wants you as a friend, as a companion, as a partner, as somebody that you care and treasure. Mentally, verbally, psychologically. Don't get the length of a rope. Please. We know what happened, but yeah. Just damn. You're not worthless, Jane. Why do you listen to him? There could also be a deeper reason as to why Jane is very subjugated to Brendan. And that could also be referenced towards what happened at the building that had its catastrophe. The building in which these experiments happened on these people that didn't want to have these abilities but got them regardless. It's just a very, very twisted, cruel, cursed fate. And what we are left with is with a noose of the past. Jane! That's what happened to poor Jane. Brendan didn't kill Jane. Well, in a way, Brendan did push Jane towards committing suicide. And that's just the long and short of it. There's going to be a trigger towards what pushes you to do the unthinkable. No, I'm not going away. You have to confront this, Jane. Jane, please, just talk to me. No, you cannot do this. Don't try and push me back as well. Jane! Do not think like that. Jane? Hey, I'm here now. It's okay. Keeley made me do this. No, Keeley was trying to help you. If she hadn't told me to talk back to him... Yeah, let's talk back to the person that's been manipulating you. Jane, just tell me everything. Let me help you, please. You just saw it. Jane, did Keeley ever said anything about it? Did you guys ever make amends? That would be a no. Honestly, now that I think it over, she seems remorseful. It was still her fault, but it was not her fault. Honestly, I don't think it was. She told you to stand up to Brendan, right? Yeah? And that led to this whole thing. All of these years of abuse. I would have done the same thing. That's another thing. All of these years. And in multiple log entries dating from 2018 to 2022 within this universe, it's at least 4 years, if not even more. Definitely would be even more, because 2018 was the start of the operations to examine and go through the abandoned building that had the catastrophe. And still not 100% sure of where the plane crash gets involved with, but Whatever the plane crash is, it had to have benefited Brendan in some way. Think about it. Brendan was antagonizing you. He was making you think that you were worthless. He was the one that pushed you over. Keely wasn't the one doing that. It was Brendan, definitely. How could it have been her fault? Well, she knew Brendan. And so did you. If, like you said, Brendan's the reason this entire mess happened. Don't get mad at Keely for something she didn't do. Exactly. Annie would have done the same thing that Keely would have done if, for some odd reason, Keely was the protagonist and Annie was within the position that Keely is in right now. Annie would have said the same thing or a paraphrased version of it. You should not develop this kind of Stockholm syndrome where you have affection towards your abuser. The abuser being Brendan. I have a hunch, hang on. Jane, let me ask you something. You're still here, as a ghost. That makes me think. Did Keely bring you back? Yeah, she did. I didn't even know how she did it. 1 second, I was, and the next I was a ghost, like her. That would explain why there's a lack of shadow beneath you, but then again, as we went through the game, Keely was the only one that had a shadow beneath her. She was crying into my shoulder, apologizing over and over again, telling me she was sorry for killing me, that she was sorry for everything. Keely did not do that. It was all Brendan. It's always been Brendan. I think her words made me believe it too. That's, in a way, was Brendan's plan to drift you apart. He wanted your friendship to break down so that he could target you both specifically. Annie, she genuinely believes it's her fault. All Brendan has done is reinforce her view on it. He's driven her deeper and deeper into her own guilt. I think I alternate between understanding that and not understanding that. It's kind of like a multiple personality disorder thing, going between one version and another version of events or personalities. Back in that room, Brendan made both of us turn against each other. He's gone to Keely way worse, though. I can hear her. She's angry herself. She hates herself. Ever since it happened, all she's done is blame herself. I wonder what Brendan's ability is, if he has one. Surely he has some kind of ability to create this scenario in the first place, where a basement is much bigger than what it actually is. That thing that changed you, I think it's some sort of representation of our anger and fear towards each other. Maybe now that I'm feeling a little better, I might be able to reason with Keely. You think so? Okay. Thanks, Annie. I'll take us back now. We shall be on our way, and back into this room where they will split. There we go. Keely, listen to me. You have to calm down, please. Why, Jane? Why even try anymore? I'm such an idiot. Keely, you didn't. It was... Jane, just stop. I'm such a failure. You're not a failure. Brendan led me to his stupid trap. I got you killed. What's even the point anymore? I just wanna... Don't think about it. Keely... It wasn't you. It was Brendan. You have to listen to me. You have to trust me. You have to put your faith and confidence in me. Please, Annie. Here comes me and my toy plane. Keely, I know what you're feeling. You think you caused Jane to, But honestly, I think you did the right thing. No, Keely, think about it. You had no idea how Brennan was going to react. Deep down, I know that you just wanted to get Jane away from him. If I were in the same position, I would have done exactly what you did. And I can tell you that you're still trying. I know that you've been trying to make things right, because if you were not still trying, we wouldn't be here. I mean, you did bring Jane back. Well, not really. Yes, you did. She's still standing right next to me. Keely, I don't blame you for anything. Annie's right, and I know you have, and I know you know that she is. Come on, Keely. Hey, Keely. Yeah? I just want you to know one thing. Jane and I are here for you, and we forgive you. Neither of us are blaming you for what happened. But, Jane, Keely, I'll always be here for you. Always. Jane, you're really not blaming me for anything? No, not at all. We're not blaming you. Oh, you guys. Keely. Ah, wonderful. Friends. I'm not good with romantic relationships. Romantic scenarios, I mean. Hey, Annie. Yeah? Thank you. Now. So, what now? Well, Brennan ran away. He's still out there somewhere. If you guys really want to get away from him, we have to keep an eye on him. You're right. He might just come back here. Yeah. But I think you scared him off. We should be good for now. What if in this hard mode he comes back as some sort of boss? Actually, now that he's gone, do you want to try tipping off somebody, Annie? You can even talk to the police. That could force him to lay low for a while. Yeah, but if even the government can't seize him, then what good would the police do? I'll definitely do that. Like, the government gives out the law and the police only enforce it. Well, I'm glad that you guys are alright. Is there anything I can do? No, I think we're fine. Right, Jane? Yeah. Thanks, Annie. Are you sure? I could try arranging something for you guys. No thanks. We'll be fine. I've got to keep making more art for the museum, you know. All of my materials are down here. I've been here for months. I can't just leave. And like I said, creating all of this art makes me happy. And that's the #1 theme that we should all try and strive for. Happiness. Yeah, if that's okay with you, it's fine by me. Keely, what about you? Well, I have to stay here. If I get too far away from Jane, she'll disappear. Oh, really? That's even better. It'll make you two fall... Wow! Dearie. Yeah, okay, cool. That's a bit deep there, Annie. Well, I'm really sorry, guys, but Mom is going to kill me if I stay here any longer. I think she really is going to kill you. I've got to go, but I'll see if I can come back here sometime. I'm going to miss you guys. I'll miss you too. And Keely. Hey, Annie. Yeah? Let's stay in touch, okay? Yeah, let's stay in touch over the internet. Although it's our own kind of internet that resorts to the spiritual world. And off we go. Off between the traffic cones. Or just back into reality, for goodness sakes. Or perhaps this is all a dream and it never even existed. But anyways, we are back. And that... maybe I'll come back some other day. Okay, so... that was the door that was initially locked. Cool beans. I'm sorry I couldn't pick up your drive. Why do you look so familiar? Gee, I don't know. Annie, don't say that. Oh, dearie me, how dare ye. Do you look familiar? You're the director? I'm good, thank you. Anything else? Any other fourth wall breakages or homages or cameos? Touching the head. Touching the head, yeah, right. There's a vent there. That's a little sus. And you? I bet she has lots of fun in the painting. You sure about that? Are you sure about that one? She'll get back from the Denny's soon. I mean Japan. What do you mean Denny's? What kind of nickname is that for a country? Right, we still have our plane in tow. Well, that was interesting. I'm glad they're okay. I'm glad I could help them out. I just have to keep an eye out for Brendan, absolutely, for them. For us. He was somehow involved with the plane crash incident, along with I'm gonna miss him so much. And when she says them, it could be also not just Keely and Jane, but also everyone else that Anne knew from the plane crash. Excluding Keely and Jane when it comes to the plane crash scenario. So when it comes to the overall story of the game, there are a few factors here which I think are involved when it comes to the abilities of Anne, Keely, Jane, and also Brendan as well. I think he has some kind of ability to be able to create worlds, because in this scenario, we essentially ran through much more of a basement that was actually there. Like, there could be only like a few rooms in there, but because of Brendan, with his shenanigans when we first met him down in the basement, of where Brendan was really confused at Annie for taking a long time to go through the entrance of the basement, because he was like, well, I've been standing here for a really long time, what took you so long? Because Brendan intentionally created it so that it was longer for Annie to be able to get there. I'm not sure why though, because it could be some kind of plotting with Brendan. But the events that happen throughout this game, and there's a lot of backstory behind this game. Like, I was really surprised with the amount of backstory that came about with this game when going through the art gallery itself and picking up on all of those plane logs or government logs. I'm not too sure really, as in like the event of things that have happened, but one thing that is conclusive is that the government incident that happened before the investigation of the building itself, and the person that intervened with the operation in order to try and extract information from the abandoned building itself, it was very likely Brendan that was involved with that building and that shot Alpha in the head. But all of this is just a little bit of just guesswork here, because we don't know exactly what happened here. But there's the summer camp, there's the plane crash, there's the building investigation itself, and the different events that transpired throughout the art gallery itself. I believe that Brendan was part of the cooperation of investigating different people that have encountered themselves with these abilities. I'm not sure if it's something that happens when the person is born or if it's developed something later on in life. But with Annie, for example, she has the ability to summon fire. Keely has the ability to reanimate the dead. And Jane has the ability to create art, but also give it life, like, let's say, an alchemical solution sort of thing within a fantasy scenario. And putting all this together, Brendan was in some ways had the ability to sense who has abilities. Like when it came to his work of being a doctor, wherever he worked at, he had ulterior motives, which was why Keely was taken somewhere else by Brendan to be experimented on, and Brendan activated Keely's ability of being a ghost and or having the ability to reverse death back into some kind of life form. Not a human, but a life form of some kind. And through all of this, Brendan His intentions are somewhat unknown. Not sure what he's trying to extract out of Annie, Keely, and Jane as being potential test subjects. Maybe Annie was a subject of Brendan because Brendan knew Annie's name. And this was something that was not kind of explained by Brendan. He just kept himself shum and not say anything about why he knew the name of these three people. Like, Keely was a friend of Brendan's? I don't think that would be the case. I just think acquaintance would be more accurate rather than friend. Because why would you be friends with somebody that has been torturing you and manipulating you as such so that you would go behind their backs in order to confront one of Keely's friends? If Keely's only friend is Jane, then it would be Keely's friend, or only friend. But then Brendan saw Jane's ability in order to create art and then give that art life. So the incident at the building, or the cooperation building in which Brendan worked in alongside his peers, there must have been some kind of incident to where Keely told Jane to stand up for herself and talk back to Brendan. And when Brendan said that none of this would have happened if Keely wasn't involved and told Keely that she's worthless and all that, something happened within the building in which then Jane created her art creations, and then those art creations must have torn down the building in some ways. Like, what could have caused the building to have the incident that it had? But we don't know anything about the summer camp, essentially. So there was Annie, there was Lizzie, there was Charlie, and one other name as well which was mentioned. There's all the names of these different people, and all of these people in some ways could have a ability of sorts. Like, I think, like it might not even be Annie's first time of seeing Keely and Jane. But there's a lot to try and unpack from this game when it comes to its backstory. And only by exploring the hard mode would you be able to get a lot of this backstory. Like the mention of like the different portraits and the different numbers included in them, and the different story that happened with those portraits with those numbers on them. They were something to do with Annie and her friends at the summer camp. But I think we're going to leave it off there, folks. If you have any other theories or suggestions about this game, then please let me know down in the comments below. Also, one last thing that I may do with this game is I'm going to try and go through hard mode without saving even once. Like, avoiding those, actually not avoiding, but just not getting the save prompts when they give me the ability to save. Like, just go through the entire game again, but just not saving at all. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next video whenever it comes out. Remember, just because EVE Remake is more well-known, doesn't mean that it is a better game. Well-knownness does not always equal a better game. Thank you so much for watching, people, and take care of yourselves.